The picture on the front of this is just a little bit of the harassment that I endure for being different. In Chapel, Nebraska, it wasn't any different. A bunch of people calling me the N word and just about any other thing that racist rednecks are supposed to hate because apparently the Jesus tells them to. Well, they'll just call you that name because other Christians will say, oh, well, if he's one of those, then it must be okay. Now we're going to talk about some perfect people, right? I'm sorry about all the crying and shit, but I miss a lot of people that I got to know very well, that I love very much. Alyssa and Amber Derry were not two of them. Alyssa Derry, like, according to what I was always taught, was beautiful. Alyssa Derry was perfect. Now, this wasn't my perception of how beautiful she was. This is just me trying to fit in, trying to listen to people's advice after growing up in the system with a bunch of black kids and a bunch of Hispanic kids and a bunch of Native American kids and a bunch of Asian kids and occasionally another white kid. I was trying to learn. I was trying to fit into my community. But I wasn't going to fit in because I wasn't willing to hate black people. Whenever somebody used the N-word, I'd tell them I don't like that word. So people started calling me N-word lover, but they didn't say N-word. There's a lot of people who, as long as it wasn't happening to them, it was okay. And there's a lot of people that didn't have to endure that. And there's a lot of people who, because they never saw it, it didn't occur to them. Now we're going to talk about Alyssa Derry because she was my idea of what perfection was supposed to be physically. Now, like I said, my dad, when I was pretty young, he told me I needed to get a good looking wife so I had someone to show off. And I needed to get a fat girlfriend so I could still have fun. I have been attracted to fat women ever since. Not sexually attracted, but attracted to as in, well, if they're fun, but my dad didn't mean fun that way. I just translated it that way. That, fun, like having fun, harmless fun. The way my dad meant it is that I should have been sexually active by that age, and that when I get older, I'm going to want to know what to do with women. And, he was trying to make a joke and be kind of sarcastic, sort of, but I mean, I grew up in the system. We got something called the no contact rule, so you don't touch each other. Ain't no touching, no hugging, nothing like that. That shit ain't happening. So for a lot of you guys who are starting to learn rules that, oh, that's how it is in an institution. Nobody touches anybody. But in an institution, it's a bit different because girls aren't allowed to touch anybody either. Girls aren't allowed to touch in institutions. They'll get in trouble too. Out here in the real world, it is not that way. Out here, everything is a man's fault. Women are absolved of all sins. Now, that's not in every case, but in most cases it is. Now, let me tell you about all the twisted women that I've known in my life. No, we're not going to do that. We're going to give you the quick, 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 quick rundown of pretty much all of my interaction with Alyssa Derry. Now, let me tell you about all the twisted women that I've known in my life. No, we're not going to do that. We're going to give you the quick rundown of pretty much all of my interaction with Alyssa Derry. All right, so I moved to Chapel, Nebraska, and everybody told me that Alyssa Derry was the prettiest girl in school, and everybody told me that Kim Jepsen was the prettiest girl in school, and basically they just argued over which one was the prettiest girl in school. I really honestly didn't care. I was friends with Kim. I was always told, don't date your friends because that'll fuck up your friendship. And Kim was, well, she was my first friend, and for about 3 months there, she was my only friend in Chapel, Nebraska. That was when I was 15 and I met her. She was working at a place called Sweden Cream. This isn't about Kim, though. So, Alyssa Derry, she wasn't my friend. I didn't talk to her. I didn't really want to. I didn't really care. But people kept telling me she's the prettiest girl in school. And she wasn't mean to me. She just basically ignored me, which I was fine with. And of course, I had a crush on her because I was supposed to. This is what I was taught, is the image of perfection in a female since I was pretty young. I mean, you look at the Hollywood, what the most beautiful women in Hollywood look like, what the features that are the most common with Hollywood superstars and supermodels, and yeah, Amber Derry was that. Well, outwardly anyway. I don't know what she was like mentally. I don't know what she was like at home. I don't know what she was like in relationships. I literally know jack shit about Alyssa Derry other than some of the people she's related to and where her parents live. I mean, this is years ago that I went to high school with her. Now, one day, Alyssa Derry had her backpack, and while she had it on her back, I tried to unzip it a little bit to see if she'd notice. Oh, she noticed, and she yelled at me. And after that, I wasn't interested anymore. It just took that one little moment, and my judgment was set. I'm not interested in her. If she's going to get so hateful and angry about me seeing if she could tell I was unzipping her backpack, well, I can understand. I'm not one of the good looking guys. I was covered in pimples. I didn't talk to her. I was awkward and weird, and most people there were just dickheads to me. And of course, I was Eric Schwartz's brother. And she didn't give me any problems. She literally never gave me a problem. There was just that one day, that one incident. And after that, did I have any other interaction with her? No, not at all. I mean, once in a while, when we hadn't seen each other in a while, she'd come back to town after moving away, and she might notice me and say hi, familiar face. But other than that, no, not really. Except for there was this one time I was getting ready to go to a Renaissance festival. I was like, man, that's the most fun I ever had as a kid was getting to go on a field trip to a Renaissance festival. And that was with a summer camp that's put on for special ed kids. Anyway, I'm sorry about all the screaming. If I keep getting distracted by it, just understand that sound automatically gets my ears perked up, and I already checked it out a couple of times. They're just playing over there. It's just the way they play, I guess. Those particular children, anyway. So let's get back to Alyssa Derry. So it was 2000. God, what year was it? 2001. And the Twin Towers got hit. And the first person that I thought of to let know was Alyssa Derry. I don't know why. So when the Twin Towers got hit, basically at that point, every friend that I'd ever had, there was no reason to talk to them because they really didn't actually care. Most of them were too involved in getting into relationships and making stupid decisions. And Alyssa had never been mean to me. And after that one day with the backpack incident, she did talk to me like I was a person. She wasn't mean. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't think that I have seen Alyssa Derry since 2000, since shit, it might have even been the 90s. It might have even been the 90s the last time I saw Alyssa Derry. I don't know. I've heard a few people say some pretty nasty things about Alyssa. Whether they're true or not, I don't know. But Amber, I have literally never heard anyone that I have ever known ever say anything bad about Amber Derry. I never had a crush on Amber Derry. I never wanted to date Amber Derry or ask her out on a date. For the most part, I just felt really bad for her because my little brother Michael had a crush on her and he wouldn't leave her alone. And he'd come home every day all infatuated with her and fucking creeping me the fuck out for sure. It wasn't just whining and pining either. Like, you know, he wanted to shoot some kid named Luke Johnson because of Amber Derry. Like, what the fuck did Luke Johnson ever do to him? Well, my little brother was very jealous and he felt very possessive of Amber Derry. And one day he was talking about doing something real extra mean to Amber to try to get her to pay attention to him and get away from Luke. And like, it was something real fucking mean. I didn't say nice things to him. I didn't know Amber at all at that point. I don't think I had said one fucking word to her the entire time that I'd known who she was. And I knew who she was because Michael wanted to point out everything about Amber Derry. Wanted to just, hey, I saw her over there and over there and over there. And hey, there's Amber. Hey, there's Amber. Hey, there's Amber. Hey, Mom, stop. Pull over so I can say hi. God, Michael. And the kind of stuff that he talked about isn't like, puppy love where a boy has a crush on a girl who's nice to him. It was a possessive sexual infatuation from a fucking twisted asshole. And she was so nice to him too. Like she really did try to let him down nicely. When he was talking about doing mean shit to her, yeah, I did. And I'll admit this, I threatened my little brother. I did not threaten to kill him, but I did threaten him. I said, Michael, I don't care how much of a crush that you have on her. You don't put your hands on women. Don't come up to me and after all that I have been through in my lifetime and tell me that you're going to go do that shit to another human being. I'm not going to fucking let it happen, Michael. You knock your shit off and you leave her the fuck alone. I don't know if he left her alone or not. She didn't come to complain to me about it. And And Michael didn't talk about her in front of me ever again. Not gonna have that shit. Now, one thing that's consistent through all these years is that Amber has literally never done me wrong, ever. I've never even heard of her doing something wrong to anyone, ever. Now, why don't I have a super big crush on her? Why don't I think I'm in love with her? Why do I not have this infatuation that my little brother has? Is it because Amber Derry is ugly? No, she's not ugly by a long shot. I got to hear from my little brother Michael, and I got to hear from Drake Chambers and a whole bunch of other guys that were in my little brother's class about how Amber Derry was the hottest girl in school. And I just didn't fucking care by that point. I didn't care how pretty anyone was. I cared if they were nice to me. That is the only thing I fucking cared about, is if they were nice to me. If every time they fucking talked to me, they were sarcastic assholes, like the Staroskas, yeah, I didn't want to talk to them. Whenever I told people that I didn't want to hear the N-word, that I didn't like that word, you know, a lot of people wanted to do that racist N-word thing like them youngins down at the Tillamook Sporting Goods parking lot do. Oh, you said you don't like that word, but we're going to use it over and over and over and over and turn it into a game. It's not a game. It's not funny. It's not entertaining. It's mean and it's mean-hearted. With Amber Derry, I didn't want to be with her. I didn't want to hang out with her. Didn't want to marry her. Nothing like that. I just wanted my little brother to leave her the fuck alone. And that gave me a bit of a sense of, I don't know, what would you call it? Purpose. Anytime that my little brother decided that he was going to do anything mean to Amber Derry, I was just going to make sure that didn't happen. Now, it's like my only purpose in life. No, but it was a major worry for me. Not because of Amber Derry. It could have been any girl whatsoever. It was because of my fucking brother being a douchebag. There are certain things that you, first of all, you don't talk about doing those things ever to anyone. Under any circumstances. And you sure as shit don't say they're going to do those things to a woman. And say that to your older brother who grew up having that shit happening to him. Oh, hell no, Michael Allen Albert. Not a chance in fucking hell. Now, there's been a lot of twisted people in my life who've done very twisted things to me and to others. And all of those people, even the ones who think it's okay to run and slander people's names or do mean shit because they're jealous. Even Jamie Curtis could not find fault in Amber Derry. Now, I always thought people who had braces looked funny. One thing that I remember about Amber Derry is that I didn't think she looked funny with braces. And I didn't think she looked funny after she got braces off. And I don't remember what she looked like when she didn't have braces. I probably didn't know her before she had braces. What put Amber Derry on my radar was my little brother being a fucking creepy shit. And as far as putting her on my radar, I wasn't going to go following around anywhere. Now, did I ever do anything mean to Amber Derry? Yes, I did. I will absolutely admit this. So, Jamie Curtis, she was doing this wishy-washy thing. You know how players play. She had like 7 guys that she was trying to play, telling each one of them, oh, you're different than those other guys. Those guys are doing this, 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 and this. Don't say nothing, though. Don't do nothing, because I need them for this. It's important. For me, I didn't want nothing to do with that. I didn't care about that portion of her anatomy. Whenever I had a crush on somebody, it was absolutely puppy love. It wasn't being in love with someone. I was never in love with anybody. There are just some people that I enjoyed their company because they were cuddly and fluffy. And I'm not talking about literally, I'm talking about their personalities. So one day I saw Amber Derry in the parking lot. I was on foot and she was driving, and she pulled over for no reason whatsoever. I was having a pretty bad night. I was having to deal with Jamie doing that wishy-washy thing, and it was all sorts of messed up, and I just wanted to stay completely the hell away from everybody. And she pulled up, and she was always nice to me. So when she pulled up, I talked to her. She was still nice to me. She still talked to me like I was a person. So, of course, I didn't think nothing of it. Obviously, I didn't do anything wrong to Amber. Amber didn't do anything wrong to me. But when Jamie Curtis was always wanting to, basically be as mean as she could, while she's pretending that she kind of sort of wants to be my girlfriend, and she's kind of sort of deciding, like, I don't want to deal with this. This is not what this ain't what I signed up for. When I asked her out, she knew that it wasn't me asking her out as a boyfriend-girlfriend thing. I explained that I was just completely confused by pretty much everything when it came to women. And I wanted her to teach me something about it. And I wanted to go out on an actual date just so I could say I'd been on one. Then it turned into this thing where it just wasn't cool. So, of course, I got tired of her being mean and doing this whole, I'm good enough, I'm not, I'm good enough, I'm not. But then she'd go out and get drunk with a complete stranger and come back and tell me about it. And it was just really mean of her to do. It was just really mean-hearted. The kind of stuff that you do just to make somebody feel bad, just because you're mean. So, of course, and it was complete bullshit, and Jamie knew it was complete bullshit. But I just wanted to be an asshole back. I was like, well, fuck you. I had a chance with Amber Derry, and I turned her down because I thought you were interested in me. Now, was that true? Oh, absolutely not. Of course I never stood a chance with Amber Derry. I was never interested in her. Of course I never stood a chance with Amber Derry. Amber Derry never gave me any indication that she wanted to have a relationship. She never gave me any indication that she wanted to do anything other than just talk to a human being like they're a human being, which is very rare in Chapel, Nebraska. Most people assume that because I didn't grow up in Redneckville that I must be retarded. Most people in small towns just assume everybody who's not them is fucking retarded. That's kind of how it goes. Your job in a small town is to have better bullshit than the next guy. Your job in a small town is to have better gossip than the next gal. Whoever's got the juiciest gossip is the coolest person in town, right? Or the person everybody listens to, which makes them kind of a springboard for everybody's conversations. Whether it's true or not, who cares? Now here it is many, many, many years later, and I think to myself, I don't know a single good woman. I don't know a single righteous woman. Not a single one. But you know what? Maybe there is one. Maybe somewhere there's a good woman. And then I think to myself, you know, some of the nicest girls that I know, or that I knew, because they're grown-ass women now. Some of the nicest girls I knew dated my little brother, the asshole. My little brother, the asshole, also sexually abused women in Chapel, Nebraska. And then he wanted, well, not my little brother, but some of these girls come up to me, wanted me to do something about him. I'm like, man, this is a fucked up situation. By the time that was going on, I'd already left my mom's house because she was all strung out on coke again. I was still trying to go to school. I was still going to work with Janet Roberts, cleaning Cabela's corporate every day. I was making sure that part of my paycheck went to getting food. My little sister would sneak it into the house, or I'd sneak it into the house. I made a video quite a while back about how I wasn't sure if my little sister knew. I was pretty sure she did, but not my little brother. And then Tara reminded me that there was a couple of times where she came outside to get the groceries real quick. I didn't really have much interaction with a lot of people. I mostly tried to stay away from them. You know, I tried to engage in friendly conversation, but I'm not any good at that. I don't understand why we have to go through a bunch of unnecessary pleasantries to get to the fucking point. I don't understand why, if I come to you because I'm being abused, that you want me to talk about the weather or things of that nature. I don't think I've ever taken any of my problems to Amber Derry. I think I might have dumped some of my baggage on her that day that she pulled up in the parking lot Chapel High School. This is after her and I are both grown-ass adults, of course. She pulled over and, you know, as always, she was pleasant. See, the great thing about Amber and Alyssa Derry, both of them, and they're both completely different people, by the way. I don't consider anybody perfect. But I do look at all of the really nice women that my little brother was a fucking shithead to. And I always, whenever I think about those girls, I always think about Amber Derry. And I think to myself, you know, she is a good goddamn woman. She is a good woman. She's been good to everybody that I ever knew she interacted with. Not one person I've ever known has ever said any sort of bad thing about Amber Derry. Ever. Matter of fact, the reason my little brother was so head over heels for her is because she was so nice. The reason that he was talking about abusing her in the way that he was is because she was so nice. She was nice to him, even though he was a perverted little shithead. And you know, if he said the things to her that he said to me prior to that situation with him, she'd have called the fucking cops. She would have fucking had to. But you know, whenever I think of good women and I start about how there fucking aren't none, how I don't know any good women, how I know just nice ones, and I always think to myself, you know, I'm going to continue to say that, but I got to admit, yeah, Amber Derry she's the one woman in my lifetime that I haven't heard anybody say anything negative or bad about, have never had any negative or bad experiences with. I don't have much experience with her to really even speak of, except maybe a handful of times that she spoke to me. Basically just hello in passing or hi, how you doing? I think she did come to me once to tell me that Michael wouldn't leave her alone. But I don't know for certain. You know, there's more than one woman who told me that Michael wouldn't leave him alone. Wouldn't take no for an answer. I just remember the one I was the most scared for was Amber Derry. Anyway, like I said, I get to scream that there's no good womans. I think about all the nice women that my little brother was a dickhead to. I think about Amber Derry, who what he wanted to do to her was worse than any of the things he did to any of these other women. I think to myself, you know, she might be a good woman, and I hope she has a happy life and whatever family she's dreamed of. I hope, because she's been so wonderful to so many people, that she has a wonderful life. And it's thinking about her that makes me feel like an asshole every time I say there's no good women. That's unfair. And every time the thought that goes through my head is, you know, I hope Amber Derry is okay. I hope she's okay. Now, why do I bring this up? This somebody who had nothing to do with the situation with Natalie before or after Natalie's death. I bring her up because of my conscience. It makes me feel like an asshole. I shouldn't have said what I did about Amber. She didn't deserve that. And even though Jamie knew it was bullshit, and even though I only said it just to be mean back to Jamie, it was still a mean thing to do. It was mean-hearted. It was slandering somebody's name and spreading rumors, and it wasn't okay of me to do. Amber Derry wasn't spreading slander about me. She wasn't going and saying mean things about me to people, trying to use me as a pawn when somebody else is being a dickhead to her. She didn't deserve that shit. And even though in the grand scheme of things it makes absolutely fucking no difference to her because it's just another instance in Chapel, Nebraska of people being stupid. You know, I do think about that. Every time I think about what a dickhead my little brother is, I think to myself, you know what? I wasn't very nice to Amber either. It was only one time, but I wasn't nice to Amber. And I did let Jamie know I just said that to be an asshole. So at least I admitted that I was a fucking dickhead for doing it. But how many of y'all do that? How many of y'all are willing to fess up when you're wrong? Especially right away when it makes the most difference. See, when you try to hide it, and it's not a real big deal, but you try to hide it, that becomes really important to you. And then it becomes a big deal. And you do stupid shit to innocent people. The one time Alyssa Derry snapped at me, I was doing something I shouldn't have been doing. I was messing with her zipper on her backpack. I never tried to do anything like mess with the zipper on Amber's backpack. She was quite a few years younger than me. She was like 4 years younger than me. But Chapel's a small town. Junior high school and the high school are attached to each other. So y'all go to school together. There's like 27 kids in my graduating class there, although I didn't graduate with them. It was the largest graduating class they'd had in years. There's quite a few women who've spoken about my little brother, his antics and his bullshit that are recorded on my channel speaking about it. My little brother wasn't very nice. He's not loyal. He doesn't care about anybody but him. He's also the most pampered of all of us. At my grandma's funeral, my little brother was talking to his daughter and the stepdaughter that he raped and telling them that he remembers not having food growing up. And my mom said, "That's a lie. You always had food." And Michael, of course, he's always going to fold. So he agreed with her reluctantly. I'm like, "Yeah, you're welcome for the food, Michael." Did he have to go hungry? Absolutely he did. We all had to. When Mom went on a fucking bender, or when Scott was out of town because he was working, yeah, we had to go without food. There was a possibility Mom might leave us home for a couple of days while she goes on a fucking shopping spree. Scott's not there to stop her. And I think that it's horrible to mention Amber Derry and my mother in the same video. Anyway, maybe there's a good woman out there. Maybe Amber's a good woman. Maybe Alyssa's a good woman. No, I don't hound them like I hound my friends. Because Amber Derry and I were never friends. We just knew each other. Alyssa Derry and I were never friends. We just knew each other. I knew who she was. On 9/11, I called Alyssa Derry because she's the only person whose number I had that hadn't been mean to me. Other than that one time that she snapped at me, and that wasn't mean. I was fucking around with her backpack. I didn't really know how to socialize properly. I didn't really know how to strike up a conversation. I thought I was pretty good at it, but no, not so much. So, yeah, if it wasn't for Amber Derry, I don't think that I would feel bad saying there's no good women. And I really can't see me saying that anyone is good anymore. But there's this thing called hope. And hope is what keeps us alive, keeps us moving forward, keeps us trying. People stop trying. They give up when there's no hope. When they have no friends who care, no family who cares, no loved ones. When their friends are all fakes or mean-hearted. I don't think I would have literally castrated my little brother. No matter what he did, I don't think I'd be able to castrate him. When he said what he did, well, that is what I threatened him with. There are things that you don't do. You don't even talk about doing them. Not ever. And especially not to Amber Derry. She didn't fucking deserve that. She did not deserve that. Thank goodness my little brother never tried. You know, and when I heard him say that, you know, I couldn't actually castrate some. I couldn't. But when he said that, I mean, I had this whole river of emotions running through me from all the shit that I had grown up living through. And my little brother is describing to me, wanting to do to a young woman that he's in school with, doing horrible things that people did to me growing up in this system. And hell no, at that point in my head, of course, I believed that I could do something like that. How dare he? Anyway, there's a possibility that there's good women out there. They are pretty. Now, I don't know if Alyssa is paying attention, and I don't know, maybe that's something that I'm supposed to. When it comes to makeup, I'm not going to be honest with you about it. I'm just going to keep my mouth shut because I think all makeup looks funny. And I don't want you getting a complex just because my opinion the thing that makes me not like other guys See, Jamie, when she was playing, she wanted to say, oh, you're not like the other guys, and she was telling them all the same thing. Well, I'm not like the other guys. I'm grossed out by vaginas. I'm grossed out by penises. I'm grossed out by buttholes. I'm grossed out by noses. I'm grossed out by mouths. I'm grossed out by ears. I'm even grossed out by the film across your eyeball. You know, the liquidy shit, the tears. It's gross. There's bacteria, protozoans, radiolarians, basidiomycetes. There's all sorts of nasty stuff you get on and in there. That stuff is a collection area for bacteria and other stuff like that to prevent it from getting into your body. It gets stuck in your mucus. And every orifice produces mucus as a result. And every orifice can become drippy and icky as a result. And yeah, I'm grossed out by every single opening in the body. I'm not grossed out by pores, but that's not mucus. That's what it is. When I have puppy love, I think about cuddling, like with a St. Bernard. The only reason that I like fat women more than skinny women or pretty women is because of the word association of my dad telling me that fat women are more fun. Get yourself a pretty wife so you have someone to show off, and get yourself a fat girlfriend so you can still have fun. For me, at that point in time, fun to me was playing with the other kids on the playground. And not fun. God damn it. Alright. Still just those kids across the street playing. They got their parents there, they're supervised, they're just fucking around. You know how we end these videos. Good to be rid of you. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper and your victim. Right. Come on. Your victims do not deserve your punishment. Sorry, I practiced that one a little bit too much. I don't think I finished it the proper way, though, before I said that, because it's something I wanted to add to the end of it. I just can't ever figure out how to properly say it. Good to be rid of you. Thank you for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper, and your sister's too, and no victim left behind. You see, I got problems with speaking. I guess I stutter. Your victims don't deserve your punishment. They deserve peace. You don't get to incite people to war and complain that you're at war. I decided at an age that if I had to kill people to fight a war, I wasn't going to fight that war. My number one goal in life is not to kill anybody, not even by accident. Your opinions don't mean squat compared to that. Your penis and or vagina don't make any difference to me compared to that. And I don't give a shit if you wear makeup or not, honestly. Because we're not dating. I don't care what you look like. If we were dating, I still wouldn't care what you look like. If you asked me which fucking dress looks better and I don't give a shit, I don't give a shit. I don't give a fuck what you wear. If you're good company, you're good company, and I don't give a fuck about anything else. I don't care if you're a cocksucking homosexual. I don't care if you're a fat woman. I don't care if you're the prettiest girl in school. I don't care if you're an 80-year-old blind man. If you're good to me, I'll be good to you. But there are certain things that you don't fucking do. You don't even talk about doing those things. However, if you're going to talk about doing those things to innocent people, there's always going to be some fucking douchebag like me who's going to speak up. Even if it's to a goddamn ass whooping. There's a lot of people that I fucking stuck up for. I didn't stick up for them because they owed me something. I didn't stick up for people because I was in love with them or I had a crush on them or I couldn't live without them. But it's a horrible thing to have to live without any real friends, any lasting friendships or relationships. I had friends for over 20 years when Natalie died. Of course, how many of them ever really got to know me? Amber Derry probably knows me and my nature better than anybody else. Just because she's literally never been a fucking dickhead to me. I've never been afraid of Amber Derry. I mean, I'm afraid of every woman because any assumption could turn into me being harmed. But I was never afraid of her saying or doing anything of that sort to me. I never heard of any sort of drama that she was involved in other than my little brother being a fucking dick. By the way, his name is Michael Allen Albert. And there are multiple witnesses on my channel to speak about my little brother, Michael Allen Albert, and him being charged with sexual assault. Would it surprise you to know that I've never been charged with any form of child abuse or any form of sexual abuse? Meanwhile, my little brother got a family, and he touched his stepdaughter, and boys, you don't fucking do that. And my mom, the fucking, she helped him to get away. Well, Michael was not allowed to be near Ashley or her daughters, including my niece. My little brother was busy hitting on another married woman named Amanda Demet, and there's conversations with her about that. There's also conversations with people like Ryan Ingersoll and many others about the perverted asshole my little brother is. Now, what's the difference between my little brother, Michael Allen Albert, and my older brother, Eric Christopher Schwartz? I know my little brother's victims. I also know the people that he intended on victimizing. My older brother, Eric Christopher Schwartz, I have never, ever had a woman come tell me that he molested her. Or sorry, I've never, ever had a minor tell me that he's ever molested her. Nicole Gerald told me that she left with my older brother once. She used to have a big old crush on me, and she left with my older brother once. And she was always afraid to talk to me after that because she was afraid I thought she did something that she didn't. You know, Natalie Bollinger said those same exact words about her and her sister when they were with Emery and Arturo. Now, Nicole Gerald told me that my old brother was feeling her up and that she told him no. But that he did eventually get the point. Eventually. So there is only one grown woman that I know that my older brother molested. And I don't know if it happened or not. The way she told the story, it's difficult to tell. But Sherman Watson and Amy Valkyrie want to pretend that my older brother, Eric Christopher Schwartz, is a child molester. Or they're not pretending and they have a witness. They have an actual victim who my older brother, as an adult, molested, who was a child. But they didn't. They haven't come forward all this time with an actual victim. Just like none of these people who want to pretend that I'm some sort of a sicko have been able to actually produce a victim. All they do is pretend that I wanted to, and therefore that must mean that I am. Oh, hell no. I never wanted to have sex with Kim Jepsen. I never wanted to have sex with Alyssa Derry. And guess what? I never had sex with either one of them, never tried to have sex with either one of them, and neither one of them ever tried to have sex with me. Sex was just not part of the agenda. And the only time that I've ever made it a part of my agenda is when people won't shut up about how I need a girlfriend. I just need to get laid. Getting laid will fix all of my fucking problems. No. Getting laid isn't going to fix a single one of my problems. I don't know what the fuck is going through your head. I have real problems. Real problems are not solved by busting a nut.